we wanted to start with some bold predictions. What's going to happen this weekend that people may not expect? So, B-Mac, I'm going to kick it to you first. What is your bold prediction for week 6 in the NFL?
Well, my bold prediction for week 6 is this is one of the bigger matchups I think that we all are anticipating seeing. It's the Baltimore Ravens traveling to the Washington Commanders. And within that ball game consists my bold prediction. Jayden Daniels will outplay Lamar Jackson. Jayden Daniels is going to have a heck of a day. He is going to give Lamar Jackson like numbers. So for the very, very first time, Lamar Jackson will get an opportunity to see what it feels like when defenses play against him, because when you look at the resemblance of their games, Jayden Daniels reminds me a lot of Lamar Jackson. He's super smart with the football, completing around 77% of his passes. And then what he brings when it comes to the running aspect to the offense, a very, very smart runner, super efficient. So that's my bold prediction. Jayden Daniels will outplay Lamar Jackson in this weekend game.
B-Mac,
Is that even bold at this point?
I can't wait to watch that. I mean, look, that's like must-see TV. But for me, I'm an offensive lineman, B-Mac. So my bold prediction, I'm going to go in a different direction here. I've got this Detroit Lions football team going on the road to Dallas and beating the Dallas Cowboys. But I had written in there 2 possessions. Let's go 2 touchdowns. I think the Lions are a complete football team, and I know we give them their credit, but I still think we are all sleeping on the Detroit Lions. Their capabilities offensively, the way that this football team is coached, they're a complete package. They've got rushers on the defensive side of the ball. They've got big hitters on the back end, a big play away from turning it over every single time the defense is out there. But it's the offense. It's the way this thing is run. I think they clobber the Dallas Cowboys, and they show McCarthy and the guys down there what it is to be a complete football team.
Yeah, I'm right there with you actually with that Lions game. I think they had that blip in the radar against the Tampa Bay Bucks, which was Jared Goff, seeing the bad Jared Goff. But I think this team now is hitting its stride, especially along the line of scrimmage. And you're seeing why everyone was so high on them. And they were the popular pick to come out of the NFC. And I just think with the Cowboys right now, the line of scrimmage couldn't be more of an issue with them, with your rookie left tackle getting banged up, with Micah Parsons, DeMarcus Lawrence probably out again on that side of the football. It's like you put all those factors in, and Dak's going to have a Herculean effort to have this Cowboys team even come close, in my opinion. All right, my last one. My bold prediction, and this one is definitely bold. I think Will Levis lights up the Colts defense. I think he comes back after that shoulder that he injured a couple weeks ago against Miami in the primetime game, has the week off. He's back healthy, and I think he goes off against this Colts team that is admittedly going to be the toughest defense he plays all year. Everyone said, oh, Levis looks so bad, so bad. Here's who he played. In retrospect, he played the Chicago Bears defense week 1, one of the best defenses in the NFL. The New York Jets defense week 2, another one. They're on a record-setting pace in terms of pass coverage this year. And then the Packers week 3, who no slouch themselves defensively, but he also put up over 250 yards. He was actually moving the ball well that game, just had a couple boneheaded plays. So I think now, and then early on that Miami game, he throws the bad pick, but gets hurt very early on. We don't really get to see. I think going up against who he's going up against this week, a Colts defense that's really underpowered, one of the worst secondaries in the NFL so far this season, I think he goes in there. And now I'm not saying they win, because I think if Joe Flacco plays, he lights it up as well. But I think Will Levis bounce back
Levis
game,
is back.
You see a big day from him. Exactly.
Pete Prisco's going to love this, dude. I mean, we talk all week with Prisco, and he's dead sold on Will Levis, and he thinks he's going to come back and be the savior for this football team. I see the case you presented, and I believe in it. Those are some really good defenses that he's played. And for Levis, it's just don't play hero ball, and the positives will outweigh the negatives. If that's the case at the end of the day, that's good football, and everybody will be happy in Nashville.
I think Will Levis will go into that game with a lot of pressure. To your point, that's a bold prediction, but Will Levis, he has to get out of his own way. The untimely bad turnovers have surfaced too many times, and if he does not ball, Mason Rudolph looked real good when he jumped in relief with with Will when he went out against Miami. I mean, and I'll say this, guys, I felt like Will Levis was healthy enough to return that ball game. They just were like, no, Mason, we're going to keep you in the game. Because think about this. Mike Cow. How many times have you watched ball and there's a player that's injured and they immediately take his helmet? Remember in that ball game, he kept his helmet on like he was anticipating going into the game, and he never went back into the game. So I think he was healthy enough to play, but they kind of like the spark that Mason provided for them that led to a nice win going into their bye week. So for Will Levis, he has to play good. I agree with you. He has to have a heck of a day to kind of keep Mason Rudolph off his heels a little bit. And most importantly, they need to win.
I want to get back to your bold prediction, B-Mac, because like I said, I'm not sure it's even that bold, given what we've seen through 5 weeks of Jayden Daniels' young career. And now Lamar Jackson, obviously, if you're like ranking MVP candidates, these guys better be in your top 3 at this point in time with how they've both been playing. But if I'm ranking MVP candidates, I'm putting Jayden Daniels right now above Lamar Jackson. He's elevating a unit that they don't have the talent that the Ravens do at the playmaker position. Outside of Terry McLaurin, you would have been hard pressed to have a lot of NFL fans who knew who their wide receiver 2 was, who their running back 2 was this year in Washington. Whereas everyone knows, though, the household names on this Ravens team so far this year. So what Jayden Daniels has done, putting up the #1 offense in the NFL through 5 weeks, I'm not sure it's that bold. And I think I'm right there with you that I think he goes into this Ravens game and maybe doesn't win because, again, these offenses are putting up points at record clips. They are 2 of the best in the NFL. But I do think Jayden Daniels, I'd be hard pressed to see this freight train stopping anytime soon here.
Yeah, I mean, I see. Sorry, go ahead, B-Mac. Go ahead, B-Mac.
Yeah, I was saying I kind of see where you're going, but when you look at what Lamar Jackson did last week, Lamar Jackson played against Joe Burrow, who threw 5 touchdowns, and that was enough. Lamar outplayed Joe Burrow. Lamar had an MVP game last week. So that momentum coming into this matchup against the Commanders, I mean, I can see it going either side. But yeah, my bold prediction isn't that bold considering what I've given you guys weeks past. But I think Lamar Jackson right now as an MVP vote, I think he would be my #1 based on what he's done. And to your point about the pass catchers, Lamar Jackson has a host of pass catchers, but Washington's wide receiver 1 is better than Baltimore's wide receiver 1, in my opinion, when we look at Scary Terry. So it's going to be an entertaining game, and both quarterbacks, they play so much alike. They're so similar, and it's not bold, but I think it could happen. I think Lamar Jackson probably wouldn't want it to happen because he wants to win the ball game.
I just think this is a changing of the guard type game. And when you talk about the hierarchy and the pecking order at the quarterback position, every week we get spoiled as fans getting to see these matchups like CJ Stroud, Josh Allen, or Justin Herbert and Patrick Mahomes. And all these quarterbacks get an opportunity week in, week out. Thank God. That's how lucky we are as football fans. And this week, that pecking order game is this one. It's Jayden Daniels, it's Lamar Jackson, and both of these guys are undeniable. And if I were to be from another planet and I came down to Earth today, I think I would say Jayden Daniels was the best football player I've seen. You know what I'm saying? So it's not too much of a stretch with that perspective on it. But when you take a look at a wider scope and all the things Lamar's done and the storied franchise that are the Ravens and their defense and their coach, this is a big time bold prediction because this is the big matchup of the week.